You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
The following broadcast is brought to you by Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. Marked Out Wrestling Podcast is not affiliated, nor do our opinions reflect those of WWE, NXT, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan, or any other professional wrestling promotion.
Here we go. Oh! Ember Moon eclipses Liv Morgan in this challenge.
Did it with a smile.
It's a shame that you spent all year writing that because that absolutely sucked. I got a better song. Let's teach him another song to a little bit more of a beat. How about just drift away, just drift away, just drift away.
Choices! Dillinger, you made your choice, and it was the wrong one.
The Empress striking back.
Marked Out Wrestling Podcast brings you the weekly Takedown.
What's up there, YouTube Live land and podcast land? It is Rody Rob here. It is time for the weekly Takedown here for Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. The date is January 26, 2017. We will be reacting to this afternoon, to NXT from 1/25/17 on the WWE Network, $9.99 if you did not know that. On the phone with us, not in studio, on the phone we have Brian the Heavy, is far away. Hey, Brian.
Via satellite. What's going on, guys?
Via satellite. We got Brian there. So
I'm sure there's a satellite involved somehow, right?
There's always satellites because they're always watching us, Brian, all the time.
Big brother.
Big brother. Exactly. Well said, Brian. How's everything going in there? Brian, to break the kayfabe real quick, Brian is there doing some physical therapy, trying to get, the joints and everything and the bones working right again. How's everything going, bud?
Not too bad. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I mean, each time I go, it feels a little bit better, but it kind of sounds like a rickety old, I don't even know, like the fucking Tin Man or whatever from The Wizard of Oz when I move.
Well, hopefully pretty soon you'll be back to shape, so maybe you and Dana Brooke can get some nasty bump ugly time in together, so that would be fun for you, I'm sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, keep it in highbrow. Okay, so here we go. Here's what we're going to do today for you guys on the Takedown. We're going to do, obviously, our Takedown topics. And then rather than doing a spotlight today, we're going to run through the NXT TakeOver San Antonio card and make our predictions. And since it's just me, Brian, and the board, which, by the way, we got Noah and JVL Shadow on the board, we can go a little bit more in-depth in our picks. Brian, you cool with that?
Oh, absolutely. Let's dive in.
All right, then we'll do a little anniversary show. But let's go ahead and start off with just a little bit of housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
No, think you're sleeping.
Housekeeping?
You come back in an hour.
Here are your Marked Out Wrestling housekeeping notes. Follow us on Twitter and chat with us throughout the week at Smart Mark Show. Send your thoughts and opinions via our email, markedoutpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us to get a better look inside our faction on Instagram at Marked Out Wrestling. Call us during a live broadcast or leave a message for a future show on our U Record Studios fan line, 704-444-0084. Like us on Facebook to argue politics and religion at facebook.com/markedoutot1. That's marked out the number 1. Finally, see what is coming up throughout the week on our website, www.markedouwrestling.com. Get connected.
Housekeeping, you want me to jerk you off?
What kind of hotel is this? Oh, it's you.
Can you dig it, sucker?
All right, here we go, our NXT Takedown topics for the afternoon. Number 1 is going to be Full Moon over New Jersey. Number 2, Just Drift Away. Just drift away. And number 3 is going to be The Vince Push. And I know Brian is sitting at home right now in Virginia, and he's going, what the fuck is The Vince Push? And
I was curious, and I haven't said anything to you before we started. So yeah, I'm willing to see.
Yeah, we are fresh.
What do you got?
Yeah, we have had no prior communications. This is all ad libbed. Nothing.
Zero.
Not a damn thing. The board is talking. Noah and JVL are going back and forth about their Rumble picks and all that, which is awesome. Which you can catch that on the other shows. But let's talk about this show right now, and let's start with this one. Topic number 1 is going to be Full Moon over New Jersey. And Brian, we saw Ember Moon face Liv Morgan in a match. And on my notes, I just have written down just a flawless match that showed the maturation of these two women wrestlers. And I highlight the word wrestlers in that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it was a quick, about 5-minute match. But I mean, it really showcased how far Liv Morgan has come. And I mean, Ember Moon on doing her part. I mean, since she's been in NXT, she's just been having phenomenal matches. So, this wasn't really any kind of feud that really had legs. It is what it. I think it served its purpose. But I think what I got out of it was really that Liv Morgan can really go with anyone. Yeah,
it's a testament. And you being a former indie wrestler of all the success you had. But it is a testament to when a wrestler has a really good showing, as Ember Moon did, and Liv did too. I'm not taking anything away from her.
Sure.
But it takes two to tango, right? It's not just a one-person activity here. Liv Morgan made Ember Moon look good. Ember Moon made Liv Morgan look good, showing that these girls, they understand the whole ring work. They understand sells. They understand timing. They understand the viciousness when you need it, and they have great charisma. And I don't know, I wish this is something that Adam watched with me, and I'd make him.
Right. Where is that? Yeah, I know. I mean, he would have really liked that, I think.
I know. Well, it's just something to change his mind, because I mean, I'm telling you, if the producers of Botchamania were watching that match, they wasted their time.
Yeah, I mean, there really was nothing, and I mean, this is kind of not off the topic, but what I really liked about it, it just kind of popped into my head, was the handshake at the end. And I was curious, if that was going to lead to anything after, moving forward. I mean, did you catch that?
Yeah. You mean when they kind of the quick slap of hands? It looked like it was a mutual thing. Are you saying kind
exactly.
of? Yeah. Like thank you for coming correct with me today, so we both look good, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would equate it to this: if you ever play basketball or football or whatever, and let's say basketball, and let's say somebody is coming down the court and you're moving, perfect pick positions and moving around in paint and whatever, and they throw you some behind the back, unseen master fucking pass, and you just get a quick little awesome layup. And it's just like everything went perfect, and you just kind of slap their hand on the way back, like, fucking well done, you played your part. And that's what I saw in that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
All right. So, we'll see where these two girls go. Obviously, Liv Morgan did the job. She pinned me, pay me for that one, but she did, in no way did she actually jobber it out. That was a great match for both those girls, and I'm really curious to see what it holds. For me, Liv Morgan, I know she's still green, but to me, I saw a better ring presence with her than I do with Billie Kay.
Yeah. I mean, you can definitely argue that, and all this talk also kind of. I just wonder who out of those 4 women that we're going to see in the match on Sunday. I mean, one of them I feel like has got to be kind of tangling with Liv Morgan at some point soon.
Yeah, they got to get her a high-profile rivalry. She had the squash match with Asuka and then now Ember Moon, but she's had a couple in between. But yeah, she definitely needs some high entertainment or high category type of opponent.
Right.
JVL Shadow is saying that Ember hasn't matured much to me. She has been on a top wrestler since her debut, and I don't disagree. She's been a top wrestler, but with anybody, in going back to the basketball analogy, Brian, with anybody that joins a new team. You have to learn their plays, you have to learn their timing, you have to learn, the feel and the mood of the team that you're joining. And Ember Moon, coming from, the Booker T school and probably some indie work, and now to NXT, clearly this match showed that now she's on the same page as everybody. I mean, even her finishing her Eclipse move, it looks a little flawed, less flawed than it maybe did at the beginning. So for me, I just see Ember Moon. She might not have matured as a wrestler, but she's matured within her new team.
Yeah, and I think that to answer that question, I think the match on Sunday that'll play a big part in how we can answer it. So let's wait a week until I answer that one.
Well, let's take a question here real quick from JVL, and then we'll move on to the next topic. JVL asked, who is better, Liv or Carmella? And I think they have pretty much the same moveset. I see the Hurricanrana move. I see the clotheslines and the kind of the overhand strikes, the drop kicks. I do see a great similarity between the two, and I just don't see. I see Liv Morgan having more potential charisma and presence than I do Carmella. What do you think, Brian?
I don't know. I mean, I got to go the other way. I kind of like what I've seen so far from Carmella on SmackDown. As far as promo-wise, ring-wise, I still think the jury's out, but I do want to say that Liv Morgan, after this match that she just had, I think she definitely is getting close, I would say. I would say Carmella is like a 10, and Liv is like 8.5, 9.
Well, I wouldn't put Carmella at a 10. I'd put Carmella at like a 7.
Well, I just mean as far as
a Carmella scale.
To each of
sure,
just between the two of them.
A small sample size.
Yes, very
okay.
small, very small.
All right, let's do this.
2.
All right, topic number 2 is going to be just drift away, and again, we just want to get kind of these going home matches out of the way here, and then we'll get to the meat and potatoes of the event. And I think overall, Brian, this was a pretty good going home show where you had the good promo packages set for these wrestlers, but you also had a couple of maybe small kindling of new rivalries, and one of them being the out of nowhere appearance of Samson coming in and interrupting No Way Jose with his newest ballad. And I don't hate this rivalry. I don't know if it really does it elevate Samson Elias on the roster, do you think, or in the card?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is kind of one of the things that NXT has done that we don't really see too much on Raw and SmackDown, is that they're tying in multiple feuds with, they have Samson coming out with No Way, while No Way is still has his thing going on. With who was it?
It was Kona Reeves.
Kona Reeves, right?
Which, by the way, let me just interrupt you and say this: Kona Reeves got zero reaction when he came out. Zero.
Yeah, I mean, he was just kind of thrown out there. So I mean, it's tough to win over the crowd when you're just a one-off like that.
Yeah, but I
mean, it was pretty quiet.
Yeah, here's the thing, man. I've been to indie shows, and obviously you have too. And I've been to NXT shows, and there are times when there's talent that comes out of the locker room that you don't know. You know nothing about, first time you've ever seen this person, and there is still a bit of reaction from the crowd, whether it's a respectful clap or a respectful boo for a heel, an obvious heel character, but there is still some reaction. It was very telling to me when Kona came out. It felt like they were doing a rehearsal, and that stadium and that arena was completely empty because they made none at all reaction for that man's entrance.
Yeah, and I don't know if you caught it, but did you hear when Corey said, "Why does he keep licking his hands?"
I did catch that.
I mean, I don't know. It was. I mean, I guess as far as you want to talk charisma or whatever, or playing to the crowd. I mean, that was really it. I mean, there was really nothing else that he was doing out there that was trying to win me over. Whether that means to boo him or to cheer him.
Yeah. We're getting comments on the board here saying that Samson sucks. And people are saying Elias Samson sucks, and I have to take exception to that, Brian, because when I watch Samson, he's not flying around the ring, but he's playing his character very well. His moveset reflects the character, the gimmick he's given. He's a big dude, and he's vicious at times, and I'm not over on Samson, but I'm close to getting there.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of reminds me of almost of a Damien Sandow type character. Not character, but you know what I mean. As far as,
he looks like Sandow.
Style.
Yeah, ring style. Right. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I mean, the jury's out on Samson, as you like to say, Brian. But No Way Jose being a very energetic, kind of goofy in-ring character, energetic moveset, versus Samson, a very vicious moveset with a very subdued character, I think will be an interesting contrast, and I'm looking forward to seeing that maturate into something if it does.
Yeah, I agree. I think for those two guys to tangle, I mean, it's definitely gonna. I think it's gonna elevate both of them. To be honest.
And one final comment here, JVL Shadow saying that the Samoan with no charisma gets no reaction. What a surprise! And I hate to agree with Adam when he always says the only Samoan that really got over because of charisma was The Rock. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I will say that it does hold to the stereotype more than none. And again, the charisma from Kona Reeves for me was okay. Can we finish this match and move on to the next moment? I mean, the match.
And wait a second, isn't he? He's from Hawaii, no?
That's what they were saying. They were saying the aloha things, but Yokozuna was Samoan, but they said he was Japanese.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I don't really know, and I don't want to lump Hawaiians and Samoans in together because I'm pretty sure somebody would really get pissed at me. So let's move on here to our next topic. Topic number three. Topic number 3 is going to be, let me look here. Here it is, the Vince push. And now, here's what it is, Brian. We have the match between Eric Young and Chris Atkins, which, for all intents and purposes, it was a jobber match for Chris Atkins and Eric Young. And I will say this. I thought Eric Young looked like he was in his prime.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and now we're really getting to see his kind of ring work. I mean, for a while it's just been him kind of on the mic and being the talker for the group, and now we're finally getting to see him excel in the ring. And I think this was like we said, it was a squash match, but I agree with you. I think it really kind of showcased why he's good for a roster.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it more in the predictions, but for me, somebody who didn't watch Eric Young in TNA. Who is only recognizes him by the hype that other people like you and everyone else has given me about him. It is good to see him actually perform in the ring and show me that, okay, maybe this is what was all the hype was about. Maybe this was it. So a couple of the note here. After the Eric Atkins. So the Vince push is here. So Chris Atkins, which I've never seen him before. Have you seen him before, Brian?
I haven't either, unless he wrestled as a different name, and I'm just not remembering him. I've never seen him, no. Okay, so I saw this guy come out, and I thought to myself, if this guy has even half, if he even has half of the talent that a top talented performer has, he has Vince's look. Vince has to see that look and just salivate for him. A tall guy, stacked. I mean, if he just shows a 3 moves he can do perfectly. And if he doesn't suck on the mic, even if he's not great, if he doesn't suck on the mic, that kid could get a quick push to the main roster, even undeservingly so, and be pushed by Vince. Now, that might be just me doing my normal, I don't like the way creative goes, but do you kind of see that my characterization? This smells like Roman Reigns a little bit, huh?
Well, yeah, yes, I see that. It depends, though. If they push him like they push Roman, then that would be horrible. But this kid, I could see him coming being a really good heavy, kind of like Diesel was back with Shawn Michaels.
Right.
I don't know. I wasn't impressed by him in the ring, but obviously he's young, he's green, he's getting his feet wet against a veteran like Eric Young. But I want to keep an eye on him, not because I was necessarily because I'm excited about him, but I want to keep an eye on him because to me that is what, if Vince had the God powers to create a wrestler. Like you do on the video game, then that would be what Vince would create.
I agree. I mean, I think he's still definitely looking for that kind of, Vince has always been a body guy. It's no secret. So, and I don't really know, like we already said, but I don't really know. I've never seen this guy before, so it'll be interesting to see if we see him in the next couple of weeks, or if this was maybe just kind of a one-off thing, and maybe he'll, who knows, maybe he'll get signed to the Performance Center. Maybe
he could. And one final thing before we move on to our next segment is going to be they had the promo with Ty Dillinger briefly. I think it was after the Eric Young match, or maybe right before. No, right before. It was right before. And I will say this: he said, I'll quote him here, "Won by damn one," and the tone in which he said it, and the attitude in which he had during that little brief promo, Brian. I thought to myself, I really like this fighter type of attitude coming out of Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of shying away from the whole the perfect 10. That's obviously going to be the backbone of his gimmick, but he's definitely kind of taken a little bit more of a serious tone with this feud, especially. And once again, I agree with you as far as just where he's going gimmick wise.
Okay, all right. So let's do a little bit of this. We don't have our spotlight segment today because
no spotlight
because this is, for all intents and purposes, our going home show for NXT TakeOver. So let me pull that music back down to separate out the segments, Brian, and let's start with the card. We're going to do some predictions here, guys. You want to make your predictions on the board? Please, I invite you to do so. We don't have a prediction spreadsheet on the website like we do for Rumble. But I do invite you to go and make your Rumble predictions at www.markedoutwrestling.com, and you can try to compete with us and the other members of the Marked Out Nation. So, Brian, let's start with our first match here. Roderick Strong versus Andrade Cien Almas, if I said it correctly. And Roderick Strong had a promo tonight with Cien, and it just once again highlighted that Roderick Strong does not need to be speaking.
Oh God, I want to disagree with you on this so bad, but I mean it's tough, man. They did I like that they did the whole classic, the heel beats down the face backstage, and but yeah, I agree with you as far as promo.
The segment was fine, but him talking was like, oh God, please stop.
Yeah.
So, but let's move on to our predictions here. So you got Roderick Strong, you got Cien. Who's your winner and why, Brian?
Yeah, I got to go with Roderick Strong. I just see him, and we've seen it before. Cien almost has kind of been, he's almost kind of been the gatekeeper of NXT feuds when it comes to debuting guys. So I see Roderick Strong going over in this match.
Yeah, I'm torn on this one because, we always talk about if you have two guys who put on a hell of a match, then one losing does not necessarily squash them. I do worry because Roderick Strong is relatively new and unknown to the WWE universe that may not have watched him in Ring of Honor and etc. So Roderick Strong coming in with his first major rivalry, taking the loss, would that be tragic for his character? I struggle with that. Cien Almas, I keep saying that he should be pushed. I think he is a great heel. He plays the character well, and I think he's destined for greatness in the WWE brand, period. So looking at that, do they squash? Does Strong get a squash? Does Cien get a push? I have to go with Cien Almas on this one, Brian.
Ooh, and you know what? I'm going to go as far as saying that this for me has the candidate for match of the night for the card.
I agree, and we have seen this before, especially with WWE, where the opening bout of the card is it can be the show stealer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I mean that's what those guys are. That's what they're out for, especially the first match.
Okay, so we got Brian with Strong, we got me with Almas. We are against each other off the bat. Let's go to the board and see what we got here. Noah is on the board. He's saying Roderick Strong is his pick. And I'm not seeing any other picks from anyone else on the board at the moment. We'll see if we get you guys as we move forward. So let's move on to our next match, Brian, which is going to be Eric Young versus Ty Dillinger. And again, my thing with this one is Eric Young just now really giving us a good showing of match work. I know it wasn't his first match, but first real showing, in my opinion, of match work. And I'm curious if, like Roderick Strong, if he's still too green within the NXT brand, that he can afford to take a loss now. But on the same note, Dillinger has had a string of losses, and if he's going to get elevated to the main roster, do they send him out with a loss? We'll take your thoughts first and then your pick, Brian.
With this one, I'm going to have to go with Ty Dillinger. And the reason why, I just, like you said, I mean, he's had the string of losses, and, he's been rumored to be going to the main roster at any point, and maybe at the Rumble. We've been talking about it for weeks now. But I do think he's going to pick up the win, and I mean, who knows? Maybe we will see him at the Rumble the next night. But I'm going to have to go with Ty Dillinger.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you there. I'm going to say Ty Dillinger, and I don't think it's going to be a clean loss. I do think with the addition of the Sanity faction, I think that we're going to see Young taking the beat down, getting close to the loss, and then, of course, the Sanity crew comes in and disrupts the match, causing it to be a disqualification. Dillinger leaves the NXT brand with a win under his belt, and Eric Young is no less for it. So that's my pick.
You say win by DQ then, huh?
Yeah, I think win by DQ in that one. I think that's the best route for everyone on that one.
I wrote in my notes. I wrote that he steals it. So I don't think that he's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a complete squash, but I do think that Dillinger's gonna go over. That very quickly.
Very quickly. Okay. I mean, you're talking like a small package or a schoolboy type of win?
Yeah, just kind of out of nowhere. So
okay.
It still makes Eric Young look good, and Dillinger can have a win under his belt on the way to the main roster.
Okay. Let's see here. JVL Shadow, his pick for the Roderick Strong match was Roderick Strong. He's going to take Eric Young on this match, and Noah is going to take Eric Young on this one as well. And they're just sitting, they're talking about other stuff too. So we got me and you right now. We got one the same and one different. Let's see if we can move it forward here with our next match would be the NXT Championship match, which I think holds a lot of promise on this card. Now we got Peyton Royce versus the fairly unknown here, Nikki Cross and Billie Kay and Asuka, the Empress, as heard earlier by Tom Phillips on the replay there. I think, Brian, I'll give my thoughts, and I'll shoot it to you for your thoughts and your pick.
Let's hear it.
I think that this is the opportunity for Asuka to lose the belt without losing the belt, if you know what I mean. So as much as I enjoy Asuka as a champion, I do think there needs to be some parity within the top of that division, and maybe put Asuka back in the, clutch and scrawl kind of scratch and claw kind of role. To get her back into the belt. So I'm looking at the three remaining of Peyton Royce, Nikki Cross, and Billie Kay, and which ones do I think would benefit more from the belt? There's the argument to be made that Sanity comes out and helps Nikki Cross out. There's the argument to be made that Billie and Peyton as a team presence there would certainly give them an opportunity. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take your opinions and your pick first on this one.
So I think with this one, I'm going to keep it with Asuka. I think she's going to, what they say, 297 days as champion so far.
Yeah.
And I think she's going to continue. I think everyone's kind of been saying that, Asuka's going to lose the belt. Even just like he kind of said that she's, this is her way of losing the belt without having to take the loss. And we know that WWE, they always try to stay a step ahead. So I think maybe that's kind of a given that they'll do that. So I think with this, I think they're going to try to go against the grain, and Asuka's going to retain. Okay.
If you're on the board, throw your picks up so I can see them. JVL, throw yours again because the chats go away pretty quick, bud. All right, so you're going with Asuka. And I understand
I'm going with Asuka.
All right. I mean, go with your heart and your head, man. I'm with you. I mean, I love Asuka. I think Asuka is all around awesome. And by the way, before I make my pick, I just got to say, seeing Asuka and Nikki Cross in the ring with William Regal, wow, it was like the Munchkin people. It really was.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for them to start whooping Regal's ass for a moment, but it never happened.
Did it, real quick, did it bother you? Well, not bother you, but did you notice that when the security guards came out, that was the first time that I can remember that where the female wrestlers, I mean, they were openly kind of, kicking their collective asses. I don't know. I've never. Have you ever seen that before?
I thought that too when I came out. It's like, first, I've never seen security come out for the women. I don't think I can remember that necessarily, unless it was like somebody was on the ground already knocked out and somebody came and dragged them off. I've never seen.
Sure.
I've never seen the mid-fight breakup from security. As far as them,
just a thought.
Yeah, no. As far as them beating the hell out of security, no, I was completely okay with it. I've been a fan of the intergender fighting since the Attitude Era when they actually did it, and I kind of liked. I mean, I think it gives a little clout to Asuka and Billie Kay both that they can take grown man after grown man and just strike till they're down on the ground, out of the ring, and they can continue doing what they do. So, I was okay with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Cool. As far as my pick, I see Billie Kay, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce. Who benefits most for an Asuka feud going forward if she loses the belt? And I think she will. I don't think she'll take the pin. I'm going to say that, I can't give it to Billie Kay or Peyton Royce because I think that would start a rivalry with them if it went down. I am gonna go. Damn it! This is a fucking hard one, Brian.
I mean, it could be like when Ryder won the IC belt at Mania. I mean, they could just throw a complete curveball and have, like you said, Billy Kay or Peyton Royce take it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Nikki Cross. I don't think it'll be a long title run.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a long one. I think it'll fit into the theme of sanity and give that faction a little extra clout to them. I think it will be a short one, as short as maybe to Mania, maybe the takeover there, but I think Ember Moon is best set for Asuka on that. So maybe somewhere in between, they have a rematch, barring the faction from ringside, and Asuka takes it clean. So I'm gonna go Nikki Cross, and I gotta be honest, Brian, I'm not in love with that pick. I'm not in love with that pick at all.
I'm not either, man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, obviously. Noah's going to go Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce is his pick here. I think JVL went for Asuka as his pick on this one. So let's go ahead and move on now to our next one will be the NXT Tag Team Championship. Authors of Pain versus DIY. This is a contrast in styles, a contrast in sizes, a contrast in everything. This is your classic oil and water mix to me. Authors of Pain they are slow, methodical, and brutal, and DIY is deliberate and fast and dynamic. I do not see DIY losing the belts as of yet, but I don't see Authors of Pain taking the clean pin. So I have to believe that there's going to be some kind of disqualification. And DIY takes the win. So I'm going to go DIY on this one, Brian.
You're going to go, DIY by DQ, you said, right?
By DQ.
Yeah. I had the same exact thing. I had that Authors of Pain. They're not ready to take their first, because they haven't gotten pinned at all since we've seen them. I do think that that DIY is going to be a pretty hard-hitting match. I think between this one and the Roderick Strong Cien Almas match, I think these are going to be very physical. But I'm going to have to go with Authors of Pain. With DIY.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, with DIY via DQ.
Okay. Let's jump on the board here, and I see Double G Gaming. Oh, nope, can't say that. JVL, DIY are needed in 205, says JVL. Authors can take the title and get some fresh feuds at rivalry with Revival and Sanity. Well, I don't know if Revival will be there much longer, but okay, there's a pick for you. Sanity are heels. Noah's going to go DIY. I see this match being a great underdog match with DIY getting their asses kicked for a lot of the match and then making a great comeback.
Yeah, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, that's the exact, I can see that logic being used but extended out throughout WrestleMania, where we can see, because DIY, they are the underdog, and everyone loves the underdog story, and WrestleMania is the culmination of all the, of the yearly storyline. So having DIY kind of chasing the belts, even though they're going to win this match, I do think, I don't know. I mean, I kind of do want to see them drop them at some point so that they do chase them.
Okay, it would be a very short title run, obviously, and that's not. I mean, that's something we have seen before. So very possible. Again, with a few exceptions, I do think that there's a lot of parity, and these are just. I'm not married to any of my picks. Let's go to the phone line real quick. Let's see what we got. Somebody who we got on the line.
Hey, what up, man?
Hey, what's up, JD? What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, JD?
It's fucking cold in here in fucking New York.
Well,
it's freezing.
It's 70 degrees in Charlotte.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
man.
lucky bastard.
I think it's like 45, 50.
Yeah, we are absorbing in all this climate change.
Hey, I was gonna ask about NXT. Is it true that Bobby Roode is gonna fight Shinsuke Nakamura?
It is true. It is the main event of this of Saturday night's takeover in San Antonio.
Okay, I'm gonna catch it then because I'm gonna watch the Royal Rumble, and
okay.
I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, I think the Rumble is the best one. I think this will be the best Rumble, or setting it up to be the best Rumble I can remember in decades, honestly. So I'm excited about it.
The 2014 Royal Rumble was pretty good for all the wrong reasons, though.
For all the wrong reasons, I agree with you there. Good can be fun too, or bad can be fun too. I mean, but yeah, you should watch Takeover, man. I think the card at Takeover is probably going to outdo Rumble in my opinion.
Oh, you think so?
Well, not the,
yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, not the Rumble match. I think the Rumble match will be highlighted. I think the 2 championship matches will be really good too. But I think overall as a card, I think Takeover is going to win it again.
I gotta talk about a little backstory about the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Like the Rumble for me, like it always has been kind of like WrestleMania in a way where I would just like hang out with like my friends and just like eat pizza and shit.
Yeah.
And just like shoot the shit and just watch Royal Rumble. It was always like fun, and even though like I'm not big into wrestling right now, I will always watch like the Rumble and like WrestleMania.
Sure.
And like all those big pay-per-views.
I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you, bro. Wrestling can get, especially with all the shit they're throwing at us nowadays, it can get overwhelming. But there are 2 constants. Number one, WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. And,
I will always watch that. It doesn't matter. I will always watch it.
And the anticipation of Royal Rumble, just to see who's going to show up and who's going to start the feuds for Mania. To me, Rumble is probably the most exciting pay-per-view, and Mania is second to it, in my opinion.
Yeah. I just hope Scott Steiner is going to return.
Of course you do.
Yeah, where is Steiner?
He's probably in a bar somewhere, just
I think he's lost
drinking some beer.
I think he's lost with Scott Hall. I don't know. All
right,
all right, JD, man, good talking to you.
Go.
All right, bud.
All right, take care.
All right, thanks, JD.
All right, good conversation from JD there. I like it when he comes in with the content, man.
Yeah, right. And actually, speaking of Scott Steiner, I just watched the trailer. He filmed a movie. I want to say it was like a Bollywood movie.
Really?
I'll have to send you the clip. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Is he like the American version of the Chinese guy in Bloodsport?
Yes, just like that.
Okay. So let's take it to our final pick on the board, or on the card rather. The NXT Championship with Bobby Roode versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And I am excited about this. I made no bones about it. I was hoping they were going to save this for TakeOver Orlando before Mania. They went ahead and jumped on it now, and I'm sure they have a good storyline. I have full confidence in NXT that they have a good reason why they're doing it now. This is, again, another extreme contrast in styles, Brian, where we have an aggressive striker versus a general of the ring, and we have one who's his gimmick is a huge character gimmick, and the other one which is a fighter gimmick. So I don't know where to go with this, so I will throw it to you first on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely talk about contrast of styles. I mean, this is the epitome of it. But I'm gonna have to go with Shinsuke. I don't think that he's not ready to drop the belt just yet. And on the flip side, I don't think that Bobby is ready for the NXT belt just yet. So I think Nakamura. I don't think that this is obviously going to be the first of many matches. We're going to be talking about Bobby Roode for many months to come. But I do think that Nakamura is going to retain in this one.
Wow, you don't think Bobby Roode's ready for the belt yet?
Not just yet. I mean, and that's nothing against, I'm just talking about storyline wise.
Sure.
I mean, he just got here, how many months ago?
Yeah, I mean, he's fairly green for the brand.
Yeah, actually, I guess, no, because a year ago he wasn't even on the roster yet.
Right. He came in before Toronto. I mean, briefly before Toronto. Right.
Yeah, but I just think that Nakamura he's going to retain, but we'll be talking about these two for a while.
Okay.
What do you think?
What I would like to see happen is Roode wins the belt, and then they have a rematch at Mania at the Mania Takeover, and where Roode retains there, moving Nakamura either to another rivalry, a grudge type rivalry, or to the main roster, one of the two. Both of them, I'm not sure about. I'm gonna go, as much as I like Shinsuke and I like him as the champion, kind of a mysterious champion. I think NXT. Okay, so here's my thought process, Brian.
Let's hear it.
All right, so we have Nakamura now, who is the quiet striker, very aggressive. He's all about the in-ring fight. And then before him, we had Joe, who, again, another fighter. Before him, we had Finn Balor, who, again, was another fighter. I think it's time for NXT to have a character champion. And I think Bobby Roode is a great character champion. Not taking away anything from Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe is more about fighting, where Bobby Roode is more about the pageantry of the art.
Yeah, modern day Ric Flair almost.
Exactly, if you want to call it that, sure.
Yeah, go on.
I'm saying for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to pick Bobby Roode on this one.
Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let me. Do you have a helmet nearby, or can I throw an idea at you and I don't want you to fall over and I don't want this to hurt your brain.
Yeah, bulldoze me, bro.
So what about this? Because we haven't really been talking about his name at all. What about Samoa Joe showing up during the main event? I mean, he hasn't been on TV at all. I mean, have they really put the nail in the coffin as far as the Joe Nakamura feud?
Oh man, when I hear, here's the thing: he hasn't been seen since Australia, right?
I think so, yeah.
So I mean, at this point, you got to consider the fact that they phased him out, in my opinion, and he's definitely making that jump, whether at the Rumble, if not the Monday or Tuesday after the Rumble. I don't see the benefit there. If he comes in there and screws Shinsuke over, which he had a long, wonderful feud with Shinsuke, the belt switched hands multiple times. It seems like the deal was done. The ink has dried on that rivalry, and to me, I don't see the benefit of bringing Joe in with between Roode and Shinsuke in this situation. What would the benefit be?
Here's where your brain will explode. What about if Joe came out and actually helped Shinsuke?
Why?
Because then that will just be the culmination of their feud. He'll take Roode out, help Shinsuke. They can almost have a handshake as far as just like show of mutual respect. That'll also get the crowd behind Joe as far as a face pop. Then he can parlay that on Sunday at the Royal Rumble when he comes out, and the crowd will want to chant him, and it'll just be he can have his face turned within a day.
So you're saying all for a face turn?
I mean, the crowd is they're gonna chant for him when he comes out regardless. Why not just turn him full face and have him kind of switch gears and go into that more just kind of a I mean, he's always been a brawler, but more just a face. He's a machine, almost kind of like a Rhino. He just tears through people.
Yeah.
But he can do it as a baby face.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what they.
I know it's out there.
I don't know what they grow in.
It's way out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they grow in Virginia, but you got to stop smoking that. Let's jump on the board. I mean, it's interesting. It would be, if you want to go for the surprise value of it, then yes, that would be an amazing surprise to me.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, let's jump on the board here. JVL Shadow saying Roode will never be NXT champion. He doesn't need the title and isn't going to be in NXT for long. Shinsuke will stay champ for a while still. And that's, I can't argue with that. I can pick against it, and I can give an alternative fact to it. But I can't argue with it. If it happened, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Noah says Roode wins. Nakamura goes to the main roster. I don't know if they're ready. I think Nakamura's ready. I don't think WWE is ready for Nakamura to get that bump up.
No, I don't think so. And I think specifically, I think they want him to kind of, they want to see a little bit more promo work, I think. And we've been seeing a lot more lately, but I know that's kind of a big thing as far as the main roster.
Right.
And I think that a little bit more, I think he's not ready yet.
Yeah, I have to, as we conclude the pick segment here, I have to say that what really stands out to me on this card, where it's a short card, looking at 5 matches here, but I'm sure with NXT's history, these are all going to be longer matches and really intense matches, which is fine. If you have 5 matches and they are all long and awesome, you don't need 8, 9, 10 matches.
What do you think, about 2 hours?
Yeah, I'm going to go about 2 hours there. I don't know the start time. I don't have it in front of me, but I would think 2 hours, 3 at the max. But yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours sounds good.
Yeah.
But my point here is, I look at this card, and then I look at like the main event roster cards from SmackDown or Raw, and this card to me is in 0% predictable. 0% predictable. It's kind of like the Rumble this year. I think the Rumble is 0% predictable, or 1% predictable. You can make a guess and get lucky based off of your whatever conspiracy theory you have come up with. But when I look at this card for TakeOver, seeing Almas, Roderick Strong, Ty Dillinger, Jericho Young, the women's match, the tag match, the NXT Championship, it could literally go either way in all those matches, and it wouldn't necessarily disappoint either way.
Yeah, I mean, you really can make an argument for anyone to go over. So I don't know. We'll see on Sunday, I guess.
Yeah. JVL
Saturday night, shall I say?
Saturday night, shall you say?
Saturday.
I don't think Rob and I agreed on any of our picks, says JVL. Well, let's see. I had CN, Ty, Nikki Cross, DIY, and Shinsuke. So, or did I have? You had Shinsuke. I had Bobby Roode, right? Yeah, I had that backwards.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I had Shinsuke. Yeah.
I had that backwards. Okay, so I had Bobby Roode. So those are mine. So I don't know if it is or not. Noah says the Rumble is the most unpredictable in a long, long time. And yes, we're not going to really jump on Rumble here, but yeah, it is. The Royal Rumble is really setting itself up to be a really pop-worthy event, I think.
Did you say mop-worthy?
Pop-worthy. Pop.
Oh, pop-worthy. Okay.
Pop, you mother. Okay. So there's our picks for NXT TakeOver. Again, if you're just listening on the podcast or whatever, you want to email yours into markedoutpodcast@gmail.com. We'd be happy to have those, and we can compare notes on next Thursday's edition of Takedown. By the way, this will be episode 99 of our podcast, and that brings me to our next segment here, plugging episode 100 of Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. Number 100, we will be doing our reaction and review show to the Royal Rumble. So if you haven't been listening, or you don't know, episode 100, what we're going to do is we're going to live stream on Facebook as we watch. So a good 3-4 hours of live streaming on the Facebook Live, where you can jump in with us, catch our pops, and we're also going to be getting nice and toasty for our anniversary show. We're going to have some liquor, some shots, some mixed drinks, some beers. We'll be doing our thing. And if you listened last year, you know that can lead to some pretty overwhelming moments. What was it, Brian? It was butterfly effect, go. Butterfly effect, go. So, it's like the lotto. So we invite you to join us for our anniversary show, again, streaming live. We got a phone call. Let's see who we got on the line. Hey, this is the Takedown. Who we got on the line?
This is the big guy, Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, you have a lot of balls calling me, sir.
What's up, man?
Listen, man, I am over here to be the first one to declare at the Royal Rumble match, the big man, Roman Reigns, is going to defeat Kevin Owens. And you see, when you take a bean and you water that bean, and the bean becomes a sprout, you're going to know that the big man, Roman Reigns, is the best in the ring. Yes, sir.
Well, I disagree with everything he literally just said.
Roman Reigns, the guy with the wettest
Was that Bob?
Was that Bob? Bob doesn't have the balls to call in here and challenge me on Roman. Anywho. Okay, all right. So there we go. So anniversary.
Thanks, Roman.
Yeah, anniversary show. Are you going to be in town for the anniversary show, Brian?
Yes, I will be coming back specifically for the anniversary show, so I will be looking forward to being there.
Oh, we can't wait, Brian. You're so awesome.
Hey, what's 7 hours, right?
All right, what is 7 hours? It is nothing but a long fucking drive. All right. Also, here you go. Here are your plugs real quick. We got, don't forget Monday Night Rawsome. There will be the, after Monday Night Raw, which will be after the Royal Rumble, so we'll see how the hangovers feel that day. Tuesday night SmackDown coming after SmackDown every Tuesday night, obviously following SmackDown. And don't forget, here every Thursday at 3:30 p.m. we're doing the Takedown. We're going to talk NXT, maybe some other little things here and there. Still working on getting our indie show off the ground. Brian has been working with our correspondent behind the scenes, trying to get shit going with that. Right, Brian?
Yeah, we're throwing some ideas back and forth, and we're getting the ball moving. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working with that and putting some new stuff out there.
That sounds great. A lot of content we're working on for you guys here at Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. Don't forget, I am at Marked Out Rob on Twitter. We have at Marked Out BT is for Brian on Twitter. Reach out to us personally if you have questions, or you just want to talk shit. We can do that as well.
Talk shit.
Yeah, at Smart Mark Show is the handle for the Marked Out Wrestling podcast itself for the entire faction. And let's see, what else am I forgetting? Don't forget, you can leave a message on the U-Records fan line, 704-444-0084, and we will play your recordings on the air if they deem worthy to be. So let's move on now to our final segment of the show, and you guys can put your final thoughts on the board if you want to, and we'll read those for you. And the big question is big takeaway from the Takedown or from NXT. Brian, we'll start with you. What was your big question or your final thoughts for the show?
I think I've been saying it for a few weeks now, and it's no secret to anybody else. But my big question would have to be whether or not we see Samoa Joe show up at all, or is his stint in NXT finally going to be done, and are we going to see him move up to the main roster? They've been very, very quiet, almost alarmingly quiet, with Joe's whereabouts. So for me, I think out of anything from this show, if Joe's not there on Saturday, that'll be telling for what happens on Sunday.
Okay. I think that's a great question. I think one that we all share with you, Brian. My big question is going to be, will this pay-per-view, will this NXT San Antonio takeover, NXT takeover San Antonio, whatever, will this shift the balance of power on the NXT roster? Will this be a defining pay-per-view that everything changes after it's over? Or will we wait till NXT Orlando take over to kind of make that transition from one class to the other? So, again, there's so many here. Roderick Strong, Eric Young, you have veterans on here of NXT. You have new guys. You have fairly green rookies of NXT. I think this takeover could potentially change the entire structure of the NXT roster.
I agree with you. It'll definitely be telling for what they're going to do for the next couple of months.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. All right, so jumping on the board here, JV El Shadow. Final thoughts. Who is leaving the same I have after every NXT? Who is leaving the same I have after every okay. Oh, who is leaving? That's the same one he has after every NXT show.
Who is leaving?
Yes,
gotcha.
who is
okay.
Yeah, okay. That's the same question he has every time. That took me a minute, JVL. I apologize. Blah, 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 blah.
That's a very valid question.
Yeah, it is, especially when you're this close to Mania. When you're this close to one of the big four, you got to think that call-ups are going to start happening with some of the ratings kind of drags on the main roster. Are they going to make some moves to get some more entertaining people there? We'll see. We'll definitely see. So let's go. What are we doing here? Yeah, that's going to do it for one more. Final thoughts, Noah. Peyton Royce for women's champ. I need to hear her Aussie accent weekly. And sign Brian Cage. Seriously, that guy rules. All right.
Brian. Oh, he's a Brian Cage fan. He's a Lucha Underground wrestler.
I'm not familiar with him, but I will be happy to get to know him as I have the rest of them. All right, Brian.
Robert.
I'm going to close it and hang up on you. Cool?
That works.
All right, Brian. It's been fun, Bud. Everybody out there listening in YouTube land and those who will listen later on the podcast land, thank you so much for tuning in to us for another edition of The Takedown, and we look forward to seeing you at our anniversary show, streaming live on Facebook first, and in the anniversary show after Royal Rumble, and we also look forward to seeing you next Thursday here on NXT Takedown. So for myself and Mr. Brian, mark out like nobody's watching.
I'll catch you on the flip.
Marked Out Podcast is recorded, edited, distributed, and marketed at U-Record Studios in Charlotte, North Carolina. For more information on optimizing your podcast for increased listenership, check out U-Record on Facebook, Twitter, and email sales@urecordstudios.com or visit the website www.urecordstudios.com.
Yes! 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 Yes!
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.